A lot of big non-con action across the country last night. 4 top 25 teams in action. We also have Dallas Meinders, Mission University, and we also have Mark Berokoff. Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. Before we get started, the YouTube data shows that over 2/3 of you that watch this show do not subscribe. And I think all of you know I do this as a labor of love. I don't show you ads. I don't try to get any money. I pay for everything, including my travel, out of my own pocket. The only thing I wish for out of it is that a lot of people get to hear the story of NAIA basketball, and the more of you who could subscribe, it would be very helpful. So if you could subscribe on YouTube and hit the like button on X or on Spotify, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. 4 top 25 teams in action last night, a few other key games. We're also going to talk to Dallas Meinders, Mission University Patriots basketball, and Mark Berokoff talking about that big win over Langston University last night. But let's kick off with this. The College of Idaho, they knocked off Carroll at their Domino's Classic. I was a little surprised by the score. They beat them 84-65. Carroll's a really good team, but College of Idaho obviously is hitting on all cylinders. Johnny Radford, 20 points, 3 rebounds, and don't let Drew Smile fool you. He'll hit 6 out of 7 threes and thank you later. 19 points, 10 rebounds for the double-double. College of Idaho goes to 3-1. They're going to host Embry-Riddle on Saturday. Hey, let's take a listen now. Before speaking of great teams, Mark Berokoff beat a great team last night. His Oklahoma Stars did. They beat the Langston Lions. Langston Lions, a team I respect very much, along with Chris Wright. But boy, nevertheless, that's a big win for Oklahoma City Stars. We caught up with Mark Berokoff yesterday morning after the big win. Cascade Hoops Talk. I have Coach Berokoff, Oklahoma City Stars. Hey, Coach, did you play last night? I can't remember. Did you play a game last night?
Yeah, we sure did. I'll say this, though, Billy D. It feels like we're playing every single night with the way this conference scheduling has gone. So, but yes, we played a pretty big game against a really, really good team last night.
Yeah. Like a big win. You know, I got first question I have for you, because I'm tired of butchering his name. How do you pronounce Giorgio's last name?
Galicis.
And I apologize to you, young man. I try not to butcher names, but it's tough. But, you know, I have a dumb question for you. You know, this group struggled last year. They were young. They were getting pulled together. Does some of this big success you're having, does it make it easier to keep them hungry, or does it make it a little harder because they've tasted some success and start reading their own clippings?
You know, I was just talking with Kobe Mack and one of our associate athletic directors about this about 15 minutes ago. And, you know, this group was so young that, you know what, yeah, we struggled, but you know what they did? They never quit last year. Every game they played hard, and every single time if there was a loss, the next day they were in the gym and they were ready and they were battling. No, everything right now is fuel for the fire. You know, we finished so strong last year, and this group just never quit on the season. And they knew the biggest thing is they knew the vision. They knew the big picture of what we were trying to establish. They knew we were going to be young. But you know, when you're a young team and you go through the Sooner Athletic, and you taste some success and you taste a lot of failure. Yeah, it's just adding fuel now, and it's like every game, it's they've seen something now. And as sophomores and juniors, it's amazing what a 1-year difference does for you mentally and physically, and it's starting to pay off, and it's really awesome to see within the program right now.
Coach, you shot pretty well last night against Langston, But the one thing that really jumped out at me is, Coach Wright. I have tremendous respect for him. He does an unbelievable job. But you guys were able to out-rebound him. That is no small feat with that team. How were you able to do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Chris is my buddy. We talked for a long time last night in the parking lot, and our kids just played really hard last night. The bottom line, and sometimes if you're not the most athletically gifted team, like Langston is just athletically gifted.
Yes.
We just made a point to try to play even harder than they are. And Langston plays really hard. I mean, as you know, Chris Wright's teams play so hard. But we just made it a point, no matter what happened, we were going to try to play harder than them. And it just worked out in our favor last night. We were just relentless on the glass. And, when you're relentless on the glass, good things happen. And that's what happened for us last night.
Yeah, that's, I've talked to so many coaches about rebounding specifically. It's all, just desire and hustle. Obviously size plays some role, but strength, desire, and hustle is really what it's all about.
Yeah, that's what we preach. I mean, we don't have what they have in terms of the athletic, craziness that in the length, but we have a lot of heart, and our kids showed it last night, and it was just good to see what we've gone through, and just to see the kids' faces in the locker room. And you know what? It's a game in November, and we're trying to play into March, but a game in November is good for our program, and it was good to see. But again, I'm also realistic. Langston's going to be there at the end. They're too good,
yes.
And I do, and our kids do, which is kind of cool. Our kids understand that it was a game in November, and it was one to be excited about. But the way our doggone conference is, we got to go play Central Christian. That's one of the best teams in our league, so it doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, Coach, that's what I wanted to ask you about. You and I texted about this a little bit last night, but on the 16th, you had to go to UNT Dallas. On the 18th, you had to host College of the Ozarks, and on the 21st, you got to host Langston, and then 2 days later, you're going on the road to Kansas to play Central Christian, who is no slouch. They're good this year. The conference schedule is brutal. You get 1 day off in between these trips.
It doesn't make any sense, and I think a lot of us aren't real happy about it. I mean, and then what's even more, we play in Kansas on Saturday, and then we play the top team in our conference on Tuesday here at home, John Brown.
Yeah, John Brown.
So it's like, for the kids, our kids are exhausted. Our kids are mentally and physically tired. And if our kids are, so is everybody else.
Yep.
It's a strange beginning that we're going to be playing this many We've gone Thursday, Saturday, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday. And that is incredibly difficult. And we haven't had a bye yet in conference. And a few teams already have. So it's just nonstop. I mean, we're on the phone right now, and our whole staff is in here, and we've got film rolling. So it just feels like there's no break. I tried to enjoy it last night with my wife, but it's like we're on to the next one.
Absolutely.
There's no excitement now. It's like we're on to Central, and I'm watching Central, and they're pretty doggone good. So it's there's no forgiveness in this league.
Hey, Coach, you know better than I do. Coaches rest in April. Hey,
no, I don't rest in April. I got the Dodgers.
Well, yeah, baseball takes precedence then. I do have a question, though. Last question. I want you to talk. The conference this year it's always tough, but this year it just seems brutal. You mentioned John Brown. I know Central Christian is really good. Wayland has surprised people. I'm going to miss people, but Wayland, I just mentioned them. UNT Dallas is good. Just talk about the conference and the depth this season.
It's top to bottom. I mean, Southwestern Christian goes 2 Ozarks wins last night. Texas Wesleyan has a chance to beat North Texas. Wayland is really good. Langston is good. Central, John Brown, Nelson. I mean, the UNT, the list goes on and on. I mean, this conference is every single game is going to be a tough game. And, on the road in the Sooner is incredibly difficult to win. That's why you got to do your best to get your home wins. You got to go. The Panhandle Wayland trip is a tough trip for a lot of teams. I mean, Billy, it's a really good conference. It reminds me when you look at the Big Ten and they project 9 to 10 teams, making the tournament, I know we're not going to get 9 to 10 teams, but this league feels like a Big Ten type league where you can get multiple teams into the national tournament, and people would not want to have to face the Sooner Athletic this year. I'm really impressed by every single team in our conference.
Well, it's going to be exciting. You don't have, as you said, you don't have much time to relish this. I got to let you go because you got to go watch some film. And then you have athletes in the cross country today too as well, right?
Yeah, we're trying as a school. We've got our cross country teams in the national thing. So we've got our whole basketball team. We're doing a watch party, and we're bummed out. We got to play Saturday because our soccer team's hosting a national tournament first round game, and our soccer and men's teams are super, super close. But it's exciting right now around Oklahoma City. But I appreciate, again, I always say this, I appreciate what you do for NAIA basketball, and you're showing how good this level is. And I love your coverage of all the teams. And we always come in the office and you say, "Do you see what they reported and who's winning where?" And you do such a good job in the awareness, and we thank you for everything you do.
Well, that's extremely kind. Coach, I know you got work to do. I'm going to let you go. Congratulations and good luck moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's Mark Berokoff. He's the head men's basketball coach, Oklahoma City Stars. Thank you, Coach.
All right, man. Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot to Coach Berokoff making himself available. Congratulations on that big win. But there's a lot of games to play in that Sooner. I have no idea how that's going to work out. Well, let's keep going with Georgetown. Before I do that, I want to remind everybody almost all the games tonight were non-con, so we don't have the conference sheets. Follow the scroll. You can just watch them as you hear listen to the interviews. You'll be able to see who won what where. So just follow that scroll for tonight's scores. So Georgetown beat Florida College tonight, 83-74. It was a tight game. It was actually a good showing for Florida College. Coach Jesse Repay has been pulling that team together. They went through kind of a rebuild when Coach Teichman left. They were only down by 2 at halftime, and they ended up losing by 9. But a good showing for Florida College, but more importantly, a win for Georgetown. They go to 8-0. Andres Burney, 19.7 rebounds. And a guy who's at the top of the stat line seems like every night, Jabrion Spikes, 25 points, 3 rebounds. As I said, they're 8-0, and they're going to host Fisk on Saturday. The University of the Cumberlands, they defeated Brescia tonight, 89-70. Matthew Cromer, 19.6 rebounds. And Anthony Johnson, he flirts with the triple-double, every night. Doesn't quite go over, but man, oh man, this guy produces 15.6 rebounds, 7 assists. So the Patriots are 8-0, and they're going to travel to Spartanburg Methodist on Saturday. They're stacking wins. Speaking of stacking wins, here's another team stacking wins. Montana Tech wrapped up a California trip at Pacific Union. They beat them 91-68. Hayden Deacons, he's 21.7 rebounds. Braden Cook, who hit that three-pointer at home, what was that, last week? Over the weekend. 21 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. So Montana Tech is 8-0 also. They go back to the friendly confines of the Rocky Mountains and up there in Butte, and they're going to host University of Maine Fort Kent on November 29th while they're still digesting turkey. Hey, this brings us to Dallas Meinders, head men's basketball coach, Mission Patriots. First-year coach, obviously just got his first win. He's been at the school for a while. You know them, they used to be called Baptist Bible. They were an NCCAA team for quite a while. You'll hear Coach talk about that. But they were quite a successful NCCAA team. Before Dallas, his father coached there, and he works with his dad. And we talked a little bit about that. I personally couldn't do that, but, it's good he can, because your parents aren't around forever. But he's a really nice guy. Got his first win, got the first school win, first NAI win for Mission University. Let's take a listen, and I'll shut up. Cascade Hoops Talk. This is Billy D. I have Dallas Meinders on the phone, head men's basketball coach, Mission University. Welcome, Coach.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So before we get into the particulars, last night you got your first win as a college coach. Congratulations. And it was also the first win for the program as an NAIA team. You've beat other NAIA teams when the program was NCCAA, but it was the first NAIA win for your program. Talk about those two milestones.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It means a lot, obviously, to get that first win. It hasn't came easy. We've had a tough start to the season, a really good schedule, and we've lost a couple really close games. We've lost 3 games by 1 possession. So we're pretty battle tested early, and we're learning from it. We're getting better. We found a way to win last night despite not playing well, and I'm excited for the group of guys and excited for the school because we have like you said, it's first win as an NAIA program, but we do have a really rich basketball history. In NCCAA, we've been really successful, won a lot of national championships in the past. And my father was the previous head coach and really built this program to a really high level in the past. So excited to continue that and get the first win at the NAIA level.
Well, you mentioned the NCCAA. You just recently won a D1 national Division I national championship at that level. Wasn't it just recently?
Yes, it was 3 years ago.
Okay. So it's been a very competitive program for a long time, and you've beat a lot of NAIA teams as an NCCAA team as well, right?
Yes, correct. I've had a lot of people ask me about what the change is, moving up to the NAIA level, and we're super excited to be part of the NAIA. I'm very passionate about the NAIA, but schedule-wise, the biggest change for us is just that we get to join a conference now. We've been playing NAIA schools for the past 3 years.
Okay. So, you came in, your dad was a coach and you were his assistant. This was your first year as the head coach. You went over to that Oklahoma City tournament, the Abe Lemons, and you just barely lost to Southwestern Christian. And then your second game as a head coach, they threw Langston at you. Talk about that.
Yeah, no. Southwestern Christian was they're a really good team as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they find their way into the top 25 soon. They're playing really well right now. And then Langston, getting the chance to compete against them in the second game of the year was a pretty cool experience. They're really well coached, super physical, really good defensively. So it was a good opportunity to play them. We accepted our invite to the A-Lemons Classic, knowing we were going to play 3 really high-level teams, and that's what we wanted to do. We want to play teams that are going to prepare us to make a run in March.
So, Dallas, you played NAIA basketball also. Where did you play?
I played at Grandview University in the heart of America in Des Moines, Iowa.
That's where Danny Neville played as well.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. I talked to Danny pregame before we played Langston.
But we won't hold that against you that you share that with him. But no, he's a good guy, really good friend of mine. I want to ask you about, you were an assistant for your dad. You also did about 4 other jobs at the school. You're still an assistant athletic director. I think you were a golf coach, if I read it right.
I was.
You're kind of like the head cook and bottle washer. But what I want to ask you about is work. I'm always intrigued by people who can work with their dad, because I was really close with my dad, but we argued too much. I don't think I could have done it.
Right. No, it's I love it. It's an awesome experience to first, it was an awesome experience to get to coach under him, learn from him.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with him, he actually started off at the high school level, won multiple state championships with guys and girls. He was actually my high school coach. So it goes back to I played for him before anything. And so I got to play under him as a player, and then to get to come back and coach under him at the college level was a really cool experience, learned a lot. And then he's actually still obviously with me as my assistant, so it's great to have him on the bench with me. Obviously it's a different dynamic than a lot of people have, and I'm not gonna lie, there's sometimes, like you said, you do argue as a father and son, and that does happen sometimes. But at the end of the day, we go out on the floor on the same page, and both just doing what we can to help our team win.
Dallas, I think that's really cool. You can do that. Let me just say this so you'll understand. My dad was an insurance executive, and he used to like to tell me how to run chemical plants. And I would just look at him and I'd think, what in the world? But no, my dad and I were really, really close. You're lucky you get to do that. Your parents aren't around forever, and you get that time with them.
Yeah, no, it's a super, super cool experience. And I'm really glad to have, him and his experience on my bench in my first year.
Coach, you've got three guys. How do you pronounce Jocks Thomas? Is it, how do you pronounce?
Jockeys Thomas.
Jockeys Thomas, Kevin Sorrells, and then Lawson Beam have kind of been your three big go-to guys here early in the season. Just talk about those guys and what they bring.
Yeah, Jockeys Thomas is we've known what he's been capable of, and a lot of people are finding out this year. And I'm glad that he's starting to get the recognition he deserves. He's 6'5", an absolutely unbelievable athlete. He's as good of an athlete as anybody in the country. He can shoot. He can attack off the bounce. He can make plays above the rim. He's a guy that brings a lot of energy for us, and has really stepped into a leader role this year and being vocal for us. He's averaging 18 a game for us right now. So he's been a real good scorer for us. Lawson Beam, he is a junior point guard for us, from the area. Really, really tough, gritty kid, undersized, but plays harder than anybody on the court. Also a leader for us, and as good of a shooter as anybody. And then KJ is he's our Swiss Army knife player. He can do everything. There's nights whenever we need scoring that he can lead us in scoring. There's nights when we need to put him on the best player of the opposing team, and he can go and shut him down, and he can rebound. He can do a little bit of everything. So it's always great to have a player like that.
Last question for you today, Dallas. I want to ask you about the conference. It's a conference that surprised everybody in postseason play, but that conference isn't going to surprise anybody anymore. But you got
right.
Central Baptist you got to go up against. I see you play Columbia on Saturday. Just talk about your conference and that gauntlet you run.
Yeah. No, I was excited to see the postseason success for the AMC last year. I think it's a really competitive basketball conference. Central Baptist is already picking up right where they left off last year. They're a super tough, really well-coached team. Columbia College is tough every year. They're always a candidate for the national tournament and top 25, really well-coached team as well. And then William Woods, they're very good, very competitive, very physical. They have a really good team this year that I think they can compete with anyone. So it's a really good conference, and it's not just those three either. It's top to bottom. There's a ton of competitive teams. So we're excited for the opportunity to play in a conference and compete for a conference championship. And that's obviously our goal. And that starts Saturday for us, and it's not an easy one. We start with Columbia. So
I'm glad you brought up William Woods. They gave Central Baptist on the road everything they could handle last night. That was a close game. It was a battle. That Central Baptist, I got to watch them in Kansas City. It's just different when you're sitting at courtside than watching on video. They are right. A lot of people say a team is gritty. They are gritty. Yep. I mean, they're in the foxhole shooting at. I mean, they are physical, and they do not back down, do they?
No, we played them twice last year, at our place and their place, and they're tough to match up with because they can play 5 out, and they got a bunch of guys that can do a bunch of different things, and they're physical and guard and do not back down from anyone.
Yeah, but that's good for the conference to have a team that tough, and you have other, like you said, Williams Woods, and there's a lot of them, but Williams Woods and Columbia and Central Baptist are the ones that really stick out when you look at the conference. But your team, Missouri Baptist, is up and coming.
Yeah, Baptist, they're kind of in the same boat as us. They've had a really tough schedule early, and they've lost a lot of close ones, but they're starting to find their stride, and they're going to be a tough team in the conference as well.
Well, Coach Meinders, I'm really glad we could get a few minutes. It's a great milestone, that first win, the first NAI win for your program. I want to tell you and all the fans and your whole team, congratulations. It's a big deal. But keep grinding, because Columbia College is coming Saturday. They're coming there Saturday. It's going to be a war too.
Yeah, no, it will definitely be a war. There's not a lot of time to celebrate the win. It's right to preparation for Saturday. But I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come and talk, and appreciate everything that you do for NAIA basketball.
Well, that's Dallas Meinders. He's the head men's basketball coach at Mission University. Thank you so much, Dallas.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
Hey, thank you, Dallas Meinders, for giving us a few minutes. Boy, it's really well spoken. He's going to do well. Anyway, thanks a lot for the time. I appreciate that. So I'm just going to talk about two games. UNOH, they fell to Aquinas tonight, 87-77. This was the lone conference game tonight. And I wanted to point this game out. Simpson, who is a CalPAC team, beat Corbin. Corbin is a top tier, always a top 4 or 5 team in the Cascade Conference. A lot of credit to Simpson. They've struggled with Cascade Conference teams over the last few years, but they beat Corbin up at Bushnell, which is a long ways from their house, but only a little bit, an hour away from Corbin. That's a big win for Simpson. And I also wanted to tell everybody, tomorrow we're going to be down in Eugene, covering the day 2 of the Dave Lip Classic, and Corbin is going to take on Hope International, and Bushnell, who beat Hope International tonight. No, hold it. Corbin's going to take on Hope International. Bushnell beat Hope International tonight, and they are going to take on Simpson. So it's going to be 2 great games. We'll do pregame stand-ups, we'll do halftime reports, and we'll do postgame interviews. It'll be a lot of fun. Watch for us on X, and then any interviews we do always go on YouTube. So look for us look for us tomorrow. Well, look for us on Saturday down there in Eugene, and watch for our interviews and information from the Dave Lip Classic. Hey, thanks a lot. That's really all I got. I really appreciate everybody. I'm Billy D. I'm gone. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school, because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.